Hello, it's Anna Hill here with the Farming Today podcast. Today we tour England to hear about a couple of crops which have done really well in the drought, dahlias and damsons.
There is your first tree, absolutely groaning with damsons. Black gold, as my wife calls them. Stunning. Taste that, Kaz.
We start, though, in the English eastern counties, which historically have had to cope with minimal rainfall of about 600 millimetres a year. That's half the UK average, and similar to countries like Turkey and Spain. But weather patterns are changing, and farmers have had to adapt to more sudden and unpredictable downpours. This water runs off the land, and rather than giving crops a drink, it ends up on country lanes, taking precious soil with it. I joined a water workshop in Norfolk. It was organised by the Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group, or FWAG, which supports farmers who want to do more to contain and reuse water. First, I spoke to Lizzie Emmett, project manager for a 2,000-acre restoration programme nearby, who explained the challenges facing farmers in the area.
Here in the east, we're really starting to see the effects of drier, much more prolonged dry periods, and actually how that things suffer from that. So thinking of the whole system, we need more water to go back into the aquifer rather than sort of shooting off into ditches and going off into rivers and away from our system.
It's pouring with rain, but you've made everyone come outside and actually see it in practice.
Yeah, and we're going to go down to a really, really interesting feature called a rainwater attenuation feature, which is all about groundwater recharge.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, everyone ready?
Well, we've walked down to the area now. There's a beautiful shape here dug out at the bottom of the field, and this is for retaining water but actually getting it back into the aquifer. And I'm with Dr. Richard Cooper from the University of East Anglia.
When you've got heavy clay soils, when it rains, the rain just does not infiltrate down into the ground, and so it runs off the surface instead, and then that creates flooding problems. In this particular case, it was flooding onto the road and flooding the road network. So what we've built here is a large runoff attenuation feature, which, as you say, is essentially just a large pond, which provides an opportunity to capture that rainwater as it's running off the land and to temporarily store it and just give it time to slowly infiltrate down into the soil and ultimately into the underlying rocks, into the aquifer, where it can be stored. Any soil that is washed off will be trapped within the pond itself. And then periodically, perhaps every few years, it can be dug out and spread back on the fields where it came from.
I'm Nathan Walker. I'm the Farm Conservation Advisor and Technical Manager for Norfolk Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group.
It's a bit tricky at the moment, isn't it, with payments from government being less than sure. How keen are farmers to actually sit and wait until the money is there?
Farmers are struggling with that. There are farmers out there who've got countryside stewardship schemes that, so farmers went into them 5 years ago, and they'll have a 5-year scheme which will end in the end of December this year, and there's nothing for them to go into at the moment. So lots of farmers are exploring these other possibilities and other funding streams just because they have to if they're going to survive as a business.
I'm Anna Wright. I'm the Environmental Programmes Manager at the Royal Countryside Fund.
The Royal Countryside Fund is one of the groups which is supporting these workshops. Why did it decide to get involved with this?
Norfolk FWAG have been doing some work with the farmers in the area on nature-based solutions, and we thought it would be a really nice idea to bring all the farmers that are involved together because they were all doing this work independently, and we thought it was just a really nice opportunity for them to meet other people doing similar work.
We've got some of the farmers here who've been at this workshop. How have you found it?
Interesting to hear the different types of water management and how it can help the environment.
Is it something you could see yourself doing on the farm?
I think so. I think we're here just to see what sort of options there are and how that can help integrate into more sort of diverse farming work that we do.
We've also got Nick Animar here, who is a farmer locally. So how useful was this workshop for you?
Yeah, very useful. I mean, hopefully it can give us some ideas of where to target projects in capital works in the future.
We've also got someone from Anglian Water here.
Rob Holland, Anglian Water Catchment Advisor for Norfolk. And that is my job, basically talking to farmers about their land management There's real difficulty from a farmer's point of view to make a business case to show some kind of profit from these sort of measures, but these sort of events hopefully can outline how they can be monetised from a business point of view, but also there's huge environmental value to these projects.
Rob Holland from Anglian Water. Well, the baking heat has had a really beneficial impact on this year's fruit. The Lyth Valley in South Cumbria is known for its damson orchards, a dazzle of snowy white blossom in spring, and this year creaking under the weight of a bumper harvest. In fact, it's such a bumper crop that some growers have had more damsons than they know what to do with, and they're hoping to set up a new damson cooperative. As part of our week on top fruit, that's fruit grown on trees, we sent Kaz Graham to meet Guy Harnby in his damson orchard, and while dodging the rain, he showed her just how good this year's fruit is looking.
There is your first tree, absolutely groaning with damsons. Black gold, as my wife calls them.
And they're a beautiful fruit, aren't they? If we go underneath the tree, you can see just how good a year it is from underneath. It's just absolutely heaving with these beautiful fruits.
Absolutely stunning. Taste that, Kaz.
They've got this gorgeous kind of white sheen on
Absolutely.
them, haven't they? This sort of bloom, isn't it? That's what you call it.
Some are a bit split because of the recent rain we've just had, and they've just exploded in growth.
They've got a lovely sort of tart flavour. How many have you harvested so far?
Well, there's about 50 or 60 trees here, but I reckon we're up to about 300 pounds in weight of damson so far in a freezer, and another deep freeze arrived yesterday. Suddenly this year we've got this bonanza, which is why I'm so keen for the cooperative we've set up to really make the most of it in future years.
Also helping us pick this morning, getting slightly damp, come under this tree. You'll be out of the rain if you come under here. We've also got with us Angela Dobson, who is chair of the parish council here, also has damsons. Is there a knack to picking? I can see you've got your hand right into the twigs here and the leaves.
Just not to get the stalks and try and get as many leaves off as possible and be as quick as possible, because you obviously want to be getting them off the tree as quickly in the rain. So yes.
There's a real history to damsons in this valley. They've always been really important for farmers here, haven't they?
They have. The history is that they were for the dyeing industry, which fed into Kendal for the woolen industry. We were famous all over the world for the colour that the Lyth Valley damsons made, and that goes back hundreds of years. And they were shipped on tugs out of Kendal and taken to the Midlands, and they were used within the woolen industry to make beautiful fabrics and different things out of the wool.
This brilliant crop that you've had this year, it's kind of spurring you on, I suppose, to look at how you rejuvenate the damson business in the valley. Guy, tell me what your plans are. What are you going to do with all of these, this huge number of damsons you've got?
It won't be long before the crop is gone, probably 10 days, 2 weeks. And in that time, we simply want to pick as many as we can, most likely for farmers' markets and freeze, but with a view to forming the beginnings of this cooperative, the Lyth Valley Damson Company, and to supply outlets, whether it's ice creams, wonderful restaurants, farmers, pubs, whatever, and whoever can help us make the most of this fantastic crop rather than see it go to waste. Hello, boys.
These damsons
Hello.
aren't just popular with people, they're also really popular with your Icelandic sheep, aren't they?
They are, all 5 tups. Here they come. Hello.
They can hear the damsons, and they're all trotting across the field.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, look at this magnificent beast. He's got fantastic horns, hasn't he?
That is Horatio.
And you're hand-feeding them damsons.
There you go, Terry.
He likes a damson or two, doesn't he?
Yeah, here we go. Wait.
What will be the impact on the meat, and what do you hope in future that you'll be able to do with it?
It will naturally darken the meat, and I hope add a premium for South Lakeland Lyth Valley grown lamb in our restaurants, or hopefully wider than Cumbria.
I'll get started on doing the sausages.
Half a mile down the valley, farmer and butcher Sean Partington already adds value to his rare breed pork by using the fruit from his damson orchard in the sausage and bacon that he sells at food events right across the northwest. Beautiful pink, red looking mince. And what are you going to put into that?
And then we just add our seasoning and a bit of rusk. And then on top of that, our secret ingredient, the damson. I just stewed them down last night, so these are as fresh as you can get. Off the tree yesterday, stewed, and in the sausage today.
What does a damson add to a sausage?
Oh, it's just delicious. I can't really describe the sweet, plummy flavour cuts through the fat of the meat of the sausage, and it's just a sugary, plummy umptiousness.
And do you think the time of the damson has returned? There seems to be a lot of enthusiasm in this valley for damsons again.
Oh, yeah, and it's been a really good crop this year, so people who have damson trees, it's making them focus on doing something with the damsons. Jam, gin, even a damson sausage.
Damson sausage for breakfast. Could be a new thing, couldn't it? That was Sean Partington at Savin Hill Farm in Cumbria. Now let's go south to Gloucestershire. Another crop that's managed to thrive in the hot, dry summer is dahlias. These bright autumn flowers originally come from Mexico. It's their national flower, and their popularity here as a cut flower is growing. So it's fortunate that dahlia growers are enjoying a good season. The British cut flower industry has been having something of a revival over the last decade. The value of the industry has been steadily increasing, and the number of cut flower imports fell slightly in 2023. Well, Marie Lennon has been to meet Rachel Golding Barrett at the Tetbury Flower Company in Gloucestershire.
I call myself a dahlia nut, and there is something so captivating about them. There's something that they give that I don't believe any other plant gives you. The flowers are so show-stopping. I think they're amazing.
It's a perfect Cotswold village setting, isn't it? You're in the shadow of the church there.
We're very, very lucky to live here, and because of the Cotswold stone walls, it means that when people come to cut their own flowers, they really do get a chance to spend a couple of hours just immersed in the flowers, and they can take a break from life.
There are some growers that are saying they're in absolute dire straits because they're living in drought conditions and the flowers are dying off.
We tend to focus on the more focal flowers, so the more high value flowers, so the dahlias, the roses, the really show-stopping perennials. And I think that we need to build this farm so that it's much more resilient to whatever the weather does over the coming years. The dahlias are very, very resilient to this type of weather. You know, being native to Mexico, they can cope with dry conditions, and that's why we love them. So this is our dahlia plot.
Yeah, let's go now and have a look.
The way that we treat our dahlias, we are very much farming these. We are cutting them heavily. We cut very, very deep into the plant. We pinch them out early, so we take the growing tops off when they've got about 3 to 4 sets of true leaves. And what that does is make them branch out. And the field is planted through the seasons. So at the beginning of the season, we sell a lot of white, a lot of pink, a lot of blush. Around about the first, second week in September, and we start cutting the autumnals.
People are so predictable, aren't they, with what they
Very
what they
predictable.
want.
As soon as I put on my boots to come out on the field, I know that we're going to switch back.
Perfect circles of those petals.
They're just amazing. Each type has a very distinctive look. Generally, the structure and architecture of them, I think, is second to none at this time of year. This is really one of the only focal flowers that is really in its prime at this time of year. We'll actually keep cutting until the first frost.
It really helps that they are quite trendy at the moment.
Brides these days are very eco-conscious. They really value carbon-free weddings, and they want dahlias in September and October. September for us is the busiest wedding month.
And some lovely birds in the background there as well. Rachel Golding Barrett in Gloucestershire there. That's all from us today. I'm Anna Hill. The producer was Beatrice Fenton. Farming Today was a BBC Audio Bristol production.